there's no indication he plans to give up swimming.
The biggest thing that I always said to myself is I wanted to finish my career on my terms. Raised by a very, very amazing woman, and she taught me everything.
I had a lot of energy as a kid, and I grew up playing all sorts of sports. Played lacrosse, baseball, soccer, and swam. So my mom took me from one field to the next.
Taught the sport purely for water safety. I grew up watching my two older sisters compete, and I was always at the pool with them.
Running around, you know, sort of going crazy on the pool deck.
So my mom just said, I need to learn how to swim.
Yeah.
Always going. I can't sit still. My mind is always moving and racing.
In middle school, I was told that I would never amount to anything. My 6th grade English teacher told me that. I was somebody who was picked on all the time because I had big ears, because I shaved my legs, and I wore little small swimsuits. I was picked on and made fun of because I had to go to the nurse's office and get my Ritalin because I have ADHD.
I took Ritalin until I was in like 6th grade. And then I told my mom that I didn't want to take it anymore.
Bowman is a legend in the world of swimming, the man who's coached Olympic legend Michael Phelps.
I was at North Baltimore Aquatic Club. I was an assistant coach. We decided to rearrange the groups, and this hotshot kid, Michael, who was 11, ended up in this group I was coaching.
I remember meeting Bob for the first time, and I remember going home that day and saying, there's no way in hell I'm ever swimming for that man. He is crazy. I literally saw him whistling different pitches and tones and running up and down the pool, and I'm like, this guy is, no, like, Mom, I'm not swimming for him.
There were days where we got in fights, we got in arguments. I would do things purposely to piss him off.
But I knew that we had to go through that because we were the best team together.
Like, you have an opportunity to do something really special in 4 years.
At that time, I was playing baseball, lacrosse, soccer, and swimming. And my coach said, well, if you want to make the Olympic team, you got to focus on one. I said, okay, fine, let's do it.
Michael Phelps, there he is, just turned 15 years old. He's come out of nowhere in the last 6 months, and if he makes the team, he will be the youngest male swimmer to qualify for a U.S. Olympic team in 68 years.
Coach, and he said, listen, he told Michael, don't worry what anybody else does the first 100. Just race the last 100. Even though he's going to win this race, and what a race right now for second. Here comes Phelps up in lane number 5. Look at the South is going to get it too.
But it's Tom Malchow who wins it. And there's the youngster who is now the second youngest male swimmer to qualify for a U.S. Olympic team.
Michael Phelps, congratulations to you, the youngest to qualify in 68 years. Was this in your expectations, or is this unexpected for you to make the team?
The only thing I had coming to this meet was just do the best that I can, and if it was making the Olympic team, then it was.
Catapulted in front of everybody and gave myself a chance. I showed up for the Olympic final and I didn't even tie my suit. I wasn't really ready, mentally, physically, anything. It was just a new experience for me, and maybe that's why I didn't get the results that I wanted.
Malchow's going to reach for the wall, and he should get the Olympic gold medal. He's got it.
I wanted to win a medal. I wanted to stand on top of the podium and hear my national anthem.
After the Olympics is usually when people take time off, where they take a break, they relax for 3 to 6 months, and then they get back into it.
I was back in the water training the next day.
La llegada, gana Kruker, calle 3, 50-90.
Some kind, at least, in all 8 of the events he will contest over the next 8 days, and perhaps challenge the Mark Spitz gold standard of 7 victories in a single game.
When I said I wanted to win 8 gold medals, basically half the people in the swimming world thought I was absolutely crazy, and nobody could ever do something like that.
Winning 7 golds to match the famed Spitz record is an enormous challenge.
Michael, how in the world did you manage to build up the expectation of all the medals you were supposed to win, and how did you deal with all that?
Everyone used the comparison for me and Spitz for how many years, and then that was never the goal of the dream. I didn't even know who Mark Spitz was when somebody first asked me. That wasn't what I was trying to chase. I was trying to do something to be the first person to ever do something at the Olympics of that magnitude.
Michael Phelps, who will become the first U.S. swimmer to ever swim in 5 individual events at Olympics ever, Rowdy. And then there are those 7 gold medals a fellow by the name of Mark Spitz won back in Munich. So much history on the line for a 19-year-old kid.
But this is a key race for him, I think, early on.
stroke disciplines. They'll begin in the butterfly, then the backstroke, breaststroke, and then the freestyle, and we expect that Phelps will lead throughout. Well, as Phelps gets ready to turn the last leg with a lead and go into the freestyle, it's worth noting here the huge race on Monday night that he'll be in the 200 free. There are all sorts of stars in that race, including Australia's Ian Thorpe. Phelps, who got a huge load here, could have dropped that race in these games, wanted to take on Thorpe at 4-1. Michael Phelps about ready to get his first Olympic medal. It's going to be gold. It's going to be a new world record. One down for Phelps.
I remember winning the 400 IM, breaking the world record, and standing on the podium, listening to my national anthem play. My mom is there, and we shared the medal through a chain-linked fence. That was the only way that I could really see her.
Pieter van Hoogwand.
Men's 200, who's your pick?
Absolutely Thorpe.
Thorpe. I'm afraid it might be someone else, but of course I'm rooting for Phelps.
It's a close race, but Phelps is going to come through.
This is the race everyone has talked about. In this race, 4 current Olympic gold medalists. Phelps in the 400 IM, Thorpe in the 400 free, Hackett in the 1500 free, and Hogenbond in both the 100 and the 200.
The only way that Phelps can win this event is to go out in the field and make them pay coming home. Ooh, Phelps, a very slow start.
Hogenbond in the center. You see Thorpe in the full bodysuit, the yellow cap. They are leaving American phenom Michael Phelps behind in this duel. Thorpe, he came off that wall like a rocket. Michael Phelps trying to come back as well. What a great...
You know what, you have to give him so much credit for going out there and racing Ian Thorpe. Like we mentioned earlier, his coach wanted to scratch him from this event, even though he had qualified for it at Olympic trials. He said, under no circumstances am I going to scratch this event. I want to race the best.
A swimming superstar, a role model, busted. A trooper arrested Phelps for driving under the influence of alcohol and failing to obey a traffic control device.
The first DUI happens after all the success in the Olympics in Athens. How did that make you feel?
The thing that probably bothered me the most was just the disappointment that were on their faces. I saw the look on my mother's face. Never want to see that again.
Phelps, over the telephone, issued a public apology and took responsibility for his behavior.
I was in the water, I think, a week after, getting ready for the 2008 Olympics. As weird as it sounds, staring at a black line was calming, because I could kind of get lost in my own head, or I could just feel like I was free in the water. It's kind of like therapy in a way, almost.
Well, they've had gold in the 1 meter springboard. Now the swimmers have got to pick up the baton here in Montreal.
Comes Phelps on his way to the gold between Lochte and Shea for the bronze and silver, and it will be the Hungarian in second place.
But he's just going to run at a distance, 7:06.58. It's gold, no world record to the United States. Now it's overtaking him as he dies a death here in the last few strokes. Can he do it? Crocker 50.40, an 8th world record here in Montreal. Fabulous swim.
In 2005 World Championships, he literally beat me by a body length, and that was the biggest beatdown I've ever taken in my life, and that frustrated me to no other. And for me, if I have a loss like that, that's gonna stick with me more than any other victory.
What's the drive now for the games in Beijing? What is out there for you to chew up and try and accomplish?
Going 8 for 8.
People thought I was absolutely crazy for wanting to win 8. Yeah, I guarantee you they were. People publicly said it. Ian Thorpe is an Australian swimmer, and going into 2008, he publicly stated that there's no way it's possible to win 8 Olympic gold medals. I highlighted that comment, and I posted it in the back of my locker, so every day I went into practice and I saw that comment.
It's hard to imagine how difficult this journey is really going to be. The number of races, the number of days, the competition. To win 8 gold medals at an Olympics, I think would be the single greatest athletic achievement of all time.
He's in front, gold medal coming up. Will it be world record? Phelps, world record! Flight 0.2 of a second off the mark held by Ian Thorpe. The Baltimore Bullet does it again. It's number 7. And a world record.
One young man, he's 6'4", 185 pounds of pure muscle, could break both records right here in Beijing.
In 08, I didn't see anything else on. I was like almost like a racehorse with blinders on.
I went 6 or 5 or 6 straight years without missing a single day. Doesn't matter a holiday, a birthday, if I'm sick, this or that, it doesn't matter. I was in the pool because that's what I wanted. I wanted to make that sacrifice to potentially do something that nobody else has ever done.
Just an electric atmosphere here and what could be one of the best races, not only here at the Cube, but at these entire Olympic Games. First of 5 individual events for Phelps, but he calls it his toughest race because he's got his American good friend, Ryan Lochte. So here we go, 2 lengths of the pool in each of the 4-stroke disciplines.
Boy, this is so important for Michael Phelps to keep it close. You do not want Ryan Lochte to get away going into this breaststroke. Boy, look at Michael Phelps go.
Phelps is tiger in a Speedo, hates to lose. He's got the slight lead on Lochte. Chet has fallen off the pace, and as expected, it's turned into a battle here between Lochte, a couple of lanes up above on Phelps. Phelps way ahead of the world record line. 4:05.25, that was the world record that Phelps set at the trials in Omaha.
He's going to break the world record. Gold medal #1 for Michael Phelps.
We mentioned that this race would set the table for Michael Phelps. He was worried, everybody was worried, but no problem for Michael Phelps. New world record and gold medal #1 of these Beijing Games. Always exciting at the Olympics, and this should be a good one. Finals of the men's 4x100 freestyle relay. The Americans have to win gold in here if Phelps is to keep his hopes alive of surpassing Mark Spitz. And there is the French team there. They are the favorites, and they have been doing some talking. Alain Bernard, their world record holder in the 100 free, told a newspaper, well, what about the Americans? We're going to smash them.
He's trying to ride that wave as much as possible.
Bernard is pulling away from him.
He increased his lead on me, and the thoughts going through my head at that point were, oh no, that's no way I'm going to catch this guy. He increased his lead. He's the world record.
He's done it! The U.S. has done it! He did it! Oh, he did it! He did it! Phelps' hopes alive! That might be the most incredible relay split I've ever seen in my entire life.
And on the other end of things, you got Bernard, who did the talking, and he's not saying much right now.
Phelps was having some issues with his goggles in the 200-meter butterfly. He said they were leaking. What exactly was the problem there?
I swam the 200 fly blind, pretty much, because my goggles filled up with water.
About 75 meters left in the race, I could see nothing. I couldn't see the black line, I couldn't see the T, and I couldn't take my goggles off because they were underneath 2 swim caps.
15 meters left for Mike.
Women not be able to see.
Count strokes.
We'd take 9 to 10 kicks to get to 15 meters. So by that point, I could tell my goggles are filling up, and I snap went into habits. Count strokes.
Somehow, he not only won his 4th gold medal at the Games, he also set a world record. But after winning, Phelps now admits for the first time he was whipped.
I remember saying, I got nothing left.
I could just see it in his face. If you look at the pictures right after the race and he was in the water, I thought, wow, he is really tired.
Michael Phelps, just about 54 minutes from when he touched for Olympic gold in the 200 fly.
Asking yourself, why are they leading off with Michael Phelps? Why not anchor this relay with your best swimmer? Well, he asked to do this. He likes to get this team off to a good lead. Look at the room that he's going to be able to give to the Americans here coming up.
Trying to become the first team to get under the 7-minute mark. Phelps keeping a close eye on all the splits. Michael Phelps about ready to add to his incredible Olympic gold total. Keep it perfect here at these Beijing Games. Not only with Olympic gold, but with world records in each and every one of them. The first ever under 7 minutes, the Americans at the 800 free.
A year before, we talked about this race because we knew it would be the most challenging race for him. Michael is a 400 swimmer who comes down to 100. Physiologically, he's a 400 IMer. He does great 200s. The 100 is as far down as he can reach. He can't even, the 50, he can't even do it. So we knew that would be the biggest challenge.
So this is a moment that the whole pool here and the whole world has been waiting for. Michael Phelps walking out
for his 13th gold medal. Will it be unlucky? Here's the fastest seed for this final, Milorad Cavic, and he is a massive threat to Michael Phelps. A massive, massive threat he is. This is the 7th day. Will he step up? Will he win the gold in this?
I knew that Michael Cavic was going to be out a second faster than me. And I knew if I could go 24.0 on the first 50, I had a chance to win. I was 24.01.
He's just done that. Michael Phelps was absolutely nowhere with 10 meters to go. He did exactly the same in Athens 4 years ago. Michael Phelps, you are absolutely invincible.
I want to become the second Mark Spitz. I wanted to become the first Michael Phelps.
So I wanted to do something that the sport had never seen, but people had never seen.
There is not a seat to be had here in the water cube. 17,000 filling the regular seats. They have lined up in the aisles to see if Michael Phelps can do something that has never been done in the history of the modern Olympic Games. The United States will be in lane 4. They'll be right next to Team Australia. There have been great rivalries through past Olympics in the relays between the U.S. and Australia. Rowdy, we were in Sydney, remember, 8 years ago when the Aussie men handed the U.S. its first ever Olympic loss in the 400 free relay. They would love nothing more than to do that again, especially with what's at stake for Michael Phelps. 3 for Phelps and the Americans. Russia had the lead with Viachanan's great backstroke leg. Here comes Michael Phelps with a butterfly leg for the United States. Phelps into the pool for potential. Comes out of the water last and bursts ahead of the field. Michael Phelps trying to give as much cushion for Jason Lezak as possible. Just about 30 meters left for Lezak to give Phelps the greatest single performance in Olympic Games history. Trying to stay ahead of Sullivan. Have competed in summer and winter Olympic Games. Only one has won 8 gold medals in a single Olympics. That is called beating the odds.
What happens after you win a historic 8 gold medals in a single Olympic Games? Only one person in the world can answer that question, Michael Phelps.
Coming off of the 2008 Olympics where, I accomplished my dream, my goal of doing something that nobody had ever done, winning 8 gold medals. And then I asked myself, now what? What am I going to do next? I didn't want to be in the sport. I didn't want to swim anymore. I needed space.
I wasn't in tune to everything that was going on around the pool, so, if I wanted to get up and just play golf one day, I would just get up and play golf. If I wanted to go to Vegas, I would just get up and go to Vegas.
Did you feel guilty?
Not at all. I was having fun. I was pretty much just escaping the pool.
Since pretty much Beijing ended, I just haven't really thought about what I want to do. If I do want to go another 4 years.
I thought it was a 50-50. I really didn't have a feel for it, whether he would come back or not come back.
I basically just hung on because I felt like I had to.
Stop, and I made a choice to do that. Nobody twisted my arm or did anything or this and that. I put myself in that position, and somebody took a picture.
The bong thing, that at the time was like a nuclear bomb went off.
He basically dragged me into the pool every single day. I had no goals. I didn't want to be there. I felt like I was being forced to do this.
And I totally understand his lack of motivation, and I handled it completely wrong. When he didn't come to practice, I would give him a voicemail and say, well, you're throwing your life away and you're killing the whole sport. And then when he came in, I'd be mean about it. I'm like, well, I don't care what you do today because we've already thrown this thing away. You're just playing golf all the time. After a year of that, Peter Carlisle, our agent, said, how about instead of just thinking about all the things that didn't happen, why don't, when he comes into practice, you just give him the best practice you can give him that day, and then that's it. And I started doing that, and he started coming. And
Michael Phelps missed out on a medal. He finished 4th.
Is it still possible for Phelps to break the mark the way he set out to do? And physically, does he look like he has it in him?
Iconic figure writes his way into the history.
So long, my head was staring at a black line. I couldn't do anything else. I was never a kid, and so I wanted to find out what being a kid was like.
And I went on my own way, and 6 months later, I was 35, 40 pounds overweight in a really bad place, and it just kept going deeper and deeper and deeper.
Michael Phelps, the most decorated Olympian of all time, has been arrested again for DUI.
The judge gave the Olympic medalist a 1-year suspended sentence and 18 months under supervised probation.
In 2014, when I got my second DUI, I felt just terrible. I didn't leave my room for like 5 days. Didn't eat, didn't want to talk to anybody. I mean, that was the lowest I've ever been. I was on a downward spiral. I mean, I was skipping floors. I mean, I was going down so fast. And that was the moment where I felt like I didn't want to be alive.
I didn't talk to a single soul. I was left alone. I sat with my back to every single person. The fourth day, I remember somebody coming up to me and talking to me. And for some reason, I just let my guard down. And I think that's when I was like, you know what, I'm here. I need help. And I just kind of tackled it head on, and that's what really changed my life. When I first set my very first American record short course, and it was in Baltimore, and he said he was going to come, and he never showed. So my therapist said invite him to Family Week, and I was like, why? I was like, it's just going to be another letdown that he'll give me in my life. My therapist said to me, he said, if you do and he doesn't come, you at least know where he stands. And I was like, all right, that's true, I'll give it a chance. And he came, he showed up, I was very surprised, and we were able to get a lot off our chest that we had almost compartmentalized for 15, 20 years.
And I'm to the point now where it's like, my father's becoming my friend again. For me, that's what I've always wanted.
The biggest thing that I always said to myself is I wanted to finish my career on my terms. So for me, I felt in 2012 that I didn't really do that. I didn't give myself the opportunity to do what I could do. So I wanted that. I didn't want to have to live with that for the next 20 years. So I chose that I wanted to come back, and my coach, he said, we're doing it my way, and that is the only way that we can do it. And at that point, I had to just say, all right, fine, let's do it.
Phelps coming out, the most decorated Olympian of all time. 23 total medals now, 19 gold. The latest gold picked up in the 400 free relay the other night, and he'd love to get this one back.
Is this like the perfect fairy tale ending here?
Oh, I wanted my last race to be a win.
The battle is renewed between Phelps and Leclerc.
Phelps into second place.
Everybody on the planet has been talking about Phelps and Leclerc.